Now, what is the advice that he is giving his son? He says, وَلَا تُصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ. Literally, it would mean don't turn your cheek or don't turn your neck so that your cheek shows because of people. So that's literally what it means. So that needs a little bit of an explanation. Sa'ar in Arabic was used for a sickness that happens to animals, like a camel. And when it happens to a camel, like you know how when a person sometimes when they get a stroke, they lose their nerve connections to some part of their face, and their face is like one side of their face is paralyzed. Or if somebody goes through a sickness and their head is turned slightly and it's permanently turned, right? So some animals, they had a certain sickness in the desert where the camel, its neck would stay slanted, or its head would be turned a certain way even if it's walking straight, right? And it's kind of a disability that it suffers from where its neck is turned. And from it came the idea of somebody who is being arrogant towards somebody or frustrated with somebody. So you're talking to somebody and or you see them at a party or something, or they're having a conversation with you, or even they called you and all of a sudden your face kind of did this neck turn thing out of frustration, out of, I don't want to deal with this person, out of exhaustion, whatever it may be, but you turn this face. And so he says, don't turn your face and show your cheek because of people. So the linnas could be ta'liliya, like Ibn Ashur says, which means because of people. It can also be kind of just a straightforward jar, which would mean to people. Meaning don't show this to people. You're talking to somebody at work or at school or among friends or family. You're having a conversation with somebody, a stranger, and you can't stand the tone of their voice, or they can't stand the level of their intelligence, or you can't stand how wrong they are and how confident they are and how wrong they are. It could be any number of things. It could be that you think what they're saying is ridiculous. It could be that you're actually arrogant and you think they're inferior to you in some way because they don't have the degree that you have, or they don't have the qualifications that you have, or you've already sized them up because of their age. They're, all these old people are all the same, or all these kids are all the same, or all these young people think they're know-it-alls, etc. So you've dismissed somebody already before they even open their mouth. And the moment they start saying something that challenges what you believe, or ask a question that you don't have the patience or tolerance for, your face starts kind of changing, and you let them know that you're not interested in even giving them time of day by the way that you turn your face away from them, right? So you just la tusa'ir khaddaka linnas is don't arrogantly, dismissively, and out of because they're too annoying to you, you don't want to deal with them. Don't do that to people. And it's interesting that the word people was used because sometimes you can do that to your own family. Don't show arrogance to people, or don't give people an attitude. That's really what this means, is don't give people an attitude, right? Nowadays you can even think of it as don't roll your eyes at people. Don't take deep, dramatic breaths at people. Don't whatever people. Don't send emojis of people with the eyes rolled up like whatever. Don't make someone feel insignificant by the way you dismiss them or ignore them or walk off from them, etc. But another situation where you can express that is you can have an opinion like that about an entire group of people, or an entire religion, or an entire school of thought, or an entire nation of people. Oh, all these Bangladeshis are all the same. All these Pakistanis are all the same. Oh man, all these Mexicans are all the same. All these Malaysians are all the same. All these people, and you could do it for a race. And you could do it for a class of people. All these workers are all the same. All these business people are all the same. All these politicians are all the same. So you have categories of people. You can categorize people by the work they do. You can categorize people by their economic class. You can categorize people by race, religion. You can categorize people by their education, and then you have a judgment, like a stereotype of each of those, right? And then you say, oh, all you people are like this, and all you people are like that. So the moment somebody even mentions those people, or they're having a conversation about those people, you're already in regards to those people. Don't even bring those guys up. And your cheek turns. But when you have a formula for judging people, like all Asians are like this, or all doctors are like this, or all police officers are like this, or all whoever is like this, you understand? That's an oversimplification. Well, all the ones I met are like that. Well, one, you had a presupposition about all of them, and you were only looking to confirm your, predetermined bias. And two, that's a very huge population of people that it's just simpler for you to generalize and not think that every individual is different. Every case is different. Every man is different. Every woman is different. Every family is different. Everybody's history is different. Why? No, they're all XYZ. Those people are all the same. Look at all of them. They all do this, this, and this. And when that mentality develops in a person, then that society is headed towards oppression. And let me tell you why. Because for a judge, think of a judge in a courtroom, right? A judge has a case. And in a case, for example, there's a divorce case or something. There's a case between a husband and a wife. And the husband did terrible things, for example, right? And then there's another case where another husband did some other terrible things. And another case where another husband did another terrible case. And this judge has gone through 10 cases where husbands did terrible things. And in the 11th case, before the case even starts, the judge can start to think, oh, here it goes again. And before he even looks at the evidence or who said what, in his mind or her mind, he's already determined that this person is going to be a liar or this person is going to be the criminal, no matter what comes out of their mouth. You understand? Because I've seen it all before. I've seen this already. So that's also a kind of turning your neck away from people and showing them your cheek. In other words, you're dismissing one group as all of them being worthy of the same blame. None of them are individual. So this advice that he's being given to a son, if every father on earth and every Muslim father on earth was giving every Muslim son on earth this advice, racism and classism and economic, distinction and superior, the false sense of superiority and tribalism wouldn't exist in the ummah. So it's a small little advice that a father is giving his son, but if our sons were actually raised and our daughters were actually raised like this, the ummah would look very different than what it does now. Endless advice that he's given his son and how we can learn from that. So I'll conclude with that for today. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim.